Hey you guys, my name is Ashley Osier and I am the posture specialist. So it has been a few weeks since I have uploaded a new video, and part of that reason is because my home was broken into and they stole I've learned quite a bit. I want to share a little bit of that in this video, but I also really want to talk about how stress and trauma impacts our posture practice and a few tools that we can implement to make sure that we're staying on track and having good posture, and we're going to be doing that right now. Stress, as a general rule, what's going to do? It's going to tighten our muscles, right? So when our muscles tighten internally, they tighten around the spine, they tighten around our joints, they compress the vertebrae, they make everything kind of compressed, right? Because we're kind of bracing, and we see how people's posture is impacted when we're going through stress. So somebody who is going through grief, from the loss of a loved one, you know, their posture is usually compressed forward, and that can actually become a pattern. That can become a postural pattern and create postural discrepancies that will have to be worked through eventually. You know, when we have somebody who is really frustrated all the time, you know, their shoulders are up like this and their head's forward and their eyebrows are furrowed and their forehead is crinkled and their jaw is tight and they're clenching, right? They may be holding their toes tight and they may be up on their toes, right? So then what happens is that the heels are raised and the muscles in the calves that are tightened, they're shortened, which then shortens the hamstrings and then tightens the back muscles actually. When we get stressed, either through frustration or through fear or through loss and grief, when we have that for a period of time and it's just repetitive and ongoing, and then it also makes it really difficult for us to practice good posture. If you're patterning your body in a way that is compressing your structure, and then you come to my channel and I'm like, get into 3-lock mountain. When you forget, your natural default is going to come back to the pattern that has been repeating itself for an extended period of time. Does that make sense? So even if you are watching the 3-lock mountain video every day, and you guys can check that out up here, if you have been patterning yourself contrary to corrective posture, that is going to be your automatic default as soon as you step out of the 3-lock mountain. So with a pattern that you have been living in for an extended period of time, repeatedly, you have to understand that your muscles have strengthened into that pattern, into that postural discrepancy. Your breathing pattern has kind of learned to live in that postural pattern. Just the way that you move, the way that you work, the way that you socialize, the way that you communicate with other people, your whole entire life, you understand what I'm saying, is kind of enmeshed with that postural pattern. If you have ongoing stress, repetitive stress, it really can impact your ability to kind of re-educate your body, right? So that's why it's incredibly important to make sure that you are implementing like postural hooks, and I had a video on that quite some time ago, and I will put that up. I will put that up here. But you know, these kinds of practices, we want to find ways to make sure that we are implementing like the 3-lock mountain, you want to really try and figure out how you can help yourself to get that into your thinking, into your visual, into your auditory, whatever you need to do, that you're going to have to completely re-educate, and not just re-educate with the body, but then re-educate in all of your situations, in all of your social interactions, in all of your work interactions. You guys understanding this? The impact of repetitive stress on your ability to effectively practice, implement, and practice postural exercises and stretches. You guys can go to all these YouTube videos that are out there, and the 5 magical exercises or the 3 magical exercises that will give you the perfect posture, or get you out of the hump on the back of the neck. You can go to those videos, but if you don't understand that you have a default of patterning in your body, if you have stress in your life, repetitive stress, then it's going to make it really difficult to make those changes. So you want to make sure that you are connecting those to the awareness and then the commitment to that awareness. I'm going to give you guys 5 strategies, and I'm going to call these counter stress strategies that you can implement, that I think are preliminarily and foundationally really important. And the first one is going to be your routine. It is very, very important to make sure that you are trying to maintain your normal routine. So, what time do you normally get up? Make sure you brush your teeth. Make sure you shower. Make sure you eat. Make sure you get enough sleep. Make sure that you're having some downtime, that you're resting. So whatever your normal routine is, just really trying to make sure that you stick with that. One of the things that I found with all my gear stolen, I had a normal routine of recording and then editing and then posting, all these things happened every single week, and then that completely went away. It wasn't possible for me to get my normal routine back until I was able to start getting some of my gear back. So you have to put in a plan of action if you're not able to get back to your normal routine. And I'll talk about that in a second. The second thing that I want to encourage you guys to do is to stay positive and inspired. When we are going through stress, repetitive stress, and or a trauma, it's really easy to become just so exhausted. It's draining to have repetitive stress, and it's shattering to go through a trauma. So especially one that impacts your routine. So you want to stay positive and you want to stay inspired. If that means reading something inspirational, if you guys are scripture readers, or if you read inspirational books or, sayings, different things like that, quotes, stay inspired, stay positive. I will oftentimes read from some of my favorite people that inspire me, who have gone through very, very difficult times. I will link a couple of those down in the description box below, because they're just such inspirational people, and I think that everybody should know about them and be inspired by them. Have inspirational reading material or videos or people, different things like that, that you can keep around you so that you stay encouraged and stay positive. A lot of people are going through repetitive stress, and they're going through traumas, and they're getting through it. They're definitely getting through it, and so can you. Number 3 is I want you to get support. If you have somebody that can coach you to plan out how you can decrease your stress, to manage it effectively, to help you to get back into a good routine, then make sure that you do that. If it's a financial advisor, then you get somebody who can help you to get your finances together. If it is something relationally oriented for your marriage, if you have some kind of trauma in your family, get some counsel around that to help you to get that plan together that you need to overcome some of those stressors and the things that are keeping you from having good posture, okay? The fourth thing is, if you can't find somebody, or until you find someone, I want you guys to write out your routine, one, and I want you to try and write out at least a preliminary plan for yourself. So when you find that person, then you're going to be better organized for that person to help you. And until you find that person, you're going to be strategizing for yourself in a written form how to meet the goals that you have. And I think that that's really, really important, because when you are going through repetitive stress, or if you go through a trauma, it's difficult to remember everything. Right? It's really difficult to remember. So you want to make sure that you are writing things down, checking them off. Use multicolored pencils or use multicolored pens, markers. They have a great system now where you can use stickers or stickies or cute little stickies that you can put onto in your journal, make a journal, something like that, that's going to be really, really useful for you. So I do want to encourage you guys to list it out every single day. And the more that you write that out, even if it's the same thing every day, you're writing it out every single day, it means it's going to repattern itself in your mind. And eventually that's going to click, and that's going to start becoming like, you know, your second nature, okay? The fifth thing is posture hooks. So I've had a video on this, and I talked about this earlier. Posture hooks, I think, are really, really important. I've had a number of companies that have contacted me about their phone apps and, you know, different things that can help to kind of hook people in. If your body collapses and all of a sudden it zaps you and you kind of go up, you know, it's amazing how much you can zap yourself and not really be impacted by it. What I want to encourage you guys to do is to implement multi-posture hooks. You might have something on your phone, and you might have something on your computer. You might have something written in your date book. You might have a friend who helps to encourage you or to remind you with your posture. You might have a spouse where every time you look at your spouse, maybe, you know, your forehead is at a certain place on your spouse, or, you know, your nose is at a certain place on your spouse if you're a man or a woman, depending upon what your height differences are. If you're at work, you could put a marker, you know, some kind of a strip of colored tape at a certain place, and you can write posture, you know, or you could put, you know, eye level, you know, just different notes on there for yourself. You need to surround yourself with a village, however you want to see it, of posture hooks to help support you through this, to keep reminding you to stay lifted. Otherwise, you're going to get back into that old posture patterning, right? Does that make sense? Your defaults, you're just going to fall back into this, especially if you feel discouraged, or especially if you feel fearful. If you're driving and you get a lot of frustration during driving, and you drive every single day for an hour and a half, every single day, you're going to have a posture pattern for sure. And so how do you support yourself with that while you're in the car? You're going to want to make sure to have a few different things that you can implement to remind yourself and hook you into, oh, I need to repattern. I need to re-educate my whole body, and not just my muscles, not just my structure. I need to work on my breathing. I have the postural breathwork video that you can check out here as well. Okay, you guys, I hope that this video was helpful for you. I really appreciate your patience as I am getting all my gear and stuff back together. I want to hear your comments below, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and share this with your friends, your family, and your co-workers. If you are around on Instagram, make sure to follow me at The Posture Specialist. And I will look forward to seeing you guys when I am able to upload my next video. So until then, happy posturing.